106 lessons, over 9 hours of video instruction, and 1,000 plus flashcards to help you take your knowledge and skills with the Maschine MK3 or the Maschine Plus to the next level. This is the Maschine Accelerator system, and its purpose is to help you fast track your way to machine mastery. So let's get into it. There's likely several things that are keeping you from being where you want to be with Maschine. You don't know everything the Maschine controller can do. You don't know everything about all these buttons or all these displays. You may not know how to use the software, or maybe you're just too slow working within the controller or the software. You see great YouTube channels out there and you try to learn that way, but you really need a structured curriculum that takes you from A to Z, from easy to difficult concepts. And a last struggle is that when you do try to learn, you try to learn so much that you find yourself forgetting most of what you watched after a few days or so. I'm confident that many or all of these things are causing you issues because these are all the same things that I was going through when I was trying to learn how to use this tool right here. Because of that, I wanted to create something that tackled all of these issues. First, I tried to create the most comprehensive course out there in terms of topics covered and material presented. There's over 9 hours of video material in this course, spread across 106 lessons, and I cut out all the fluff. So each video is as concise as I can make it and jam-packed with value. However, I didn't just stop at creating a course. I wanted to create something that could supercharge your acquisition of skills and knowledge. Mastering the Maschine really comes down to two things. The first is exposure to the capabilities and features of the Maschine controller and software. So someone needs to show you all of the things that this controller and the software is capable of, how to use it, examples, use cases, and all that. You need to be exposed to that first. The second thing that mastering the Maschine comes down to is memorizing everything you were exposed to so you could use and implement that knowledge in your music production going forward. So after you're exposed to everything, you need to memorize and internalize that so you could use it for yourself. And you would memorize things such as concepts, features, buttons, examples, use cases, navigation, and other tips as well. The 9+ hours of video material will provide a solution for the first part, which is exposing you to everything. The second part, memorizing everything, is where many people are having issues and where up to this point there hasn't really been a resource out there for Maschine users. I wanted to help you get over the steep learning curve as quickly as possible so you could focus more on creating music rather than focusing on what does this do or what does that do or how do I use this again. With that in mind, I created this flashcard system from scratch to enable you to learn, study, and drill yourself with 1,000+ digital flashcards. By using all of these flashcards here, your memory of the material will improve, and you'll be able to use and implement what you know in your music production. These flashcards supplement the video materials, and you could watch one course video and then study the material through these flashcards. Each flashcard presents a question, an example, or a tip of some sort, and then within each flashcard, you'll find the answer, if you will, which will be a video snippet from the course. This is the equivalent of the back of a physical flashcard. The video snippet will answer the specific question or share an example that was prompted on the front of the flashcard. In essence, all the course video material has been cut, trimmed, and organized into 1,000+ flashcards. And each flashcard has tags and metadata that help categorize the flashcards in several ways. And this organization here allows for a powerful and tailored method of study. For example, you could study all the flashcards related to a topic, such as arranging. You could study all the flashcards specific to a course chapter, one of the 23 chapters. For example, if you wanted to study all the flashcards related to lock and extended lock states, you could do that here. So these are all the flashcards for this chapter. On a smaller level, you could study all the flashcards related to a single course lesson. So there are 106 lessons spread across the 23 chapters. So here you could look at this chapter, automation and modulation, and you could go to the specific lesson on automation and modulation and see all the flashcards related to that single lesson. You could study things at a higher level and at a smaller level. And for all of these databases that you see, you could study cards in chronological order, which is the default. So you could do this, open it up, and you can see the timestamp here. This will tell you this started at 4 seconds into the video. And then the next one will be in chronological order. So you could study it from top to bottom as if these are notes that you've taken on this single lesson. So you could start to build your knowledge step by step. Once you start learning this lesson, you could study the flashcards in a random order. So all of these databases have this tab that say random, and now these flashcards will be shown to you in a random order. So you could really test yourself and your competence based on what you're studying on this platform. So I could go home here, and in this larger database here, again, you'll see the random study, and all these flashcards will be shown to you in a random order. With these databases of flashcards, you can apply filters to narrow down and tailor what flashcards you want to study. For example, I could press filter here, and I could study all the flashcards in the pattern editing chapter. So I'll come here, I'll choose pattern editing. Now this database will only show flashcards that are tagged to the pattern editing chapter. So you can see that here, these are all pattern editing flashcards. And I could study these in order, and again, I could do it in random. Each card also has a concept difficulty rating of easy, medium, or hard. So you could add another filter and choose concept difficulty. And you could study all the easy cards. Now the database is showing you all the flashcards for pattern editing chapter and all the easy difficulty ones. So if you only want to study the easy cards, you could do that. After you've mastered the easy cards, now you can move up to medium. So now you're seeing all the medium cards. And then from there, you could go to hard. It's a way of segmenting the flashcards in terms of their difficulty level. So if you're a beginner, you could start off with the easy cards. And if you're more advanced, you could start off with the medium or hard cards. And you could apply multiple filters at once. And there are other filters as well. If you want to learn more about this database and how it works, if you click the link that is provided in the description, that'll take you to the page where you could get this course in the system. I included one of the videos from the course material that walks in depth on how this platform works and how all the filtering and database work in more detail. So you could click that link in the description and scroll down the page quite a bit until you find the video. So that's where you can learn more about that. I'll reset this here. So why the flashcards? The typical way to learn the machine is you try to read some things, watch some videos, you try to implement that, and eventually over time you'll reach a certain level of competence with the machine. However, I think it's a slow way to do it, and there are more efficient ways to do it. And flashcards enable you to study and learn through two effective learning strategies, one called active recall and one called interleaved practice. This is a method that I've used to learn many other subjects, and I applied it to music production and the machine specifically, and it helps me learn things quickly because these effective learning methods help you learn faster, remember things longer, and forget less. So by doing all of those things, you start to learn pretty quickly no matter what it is you're learning. So I wanted to create this system to help share it with all of you as well. Let's talk about those two effective learning strategies, active recall and interleaved practice. Active recall is a learning technique that involves testing yourself with a question of some sort, and then you retrieve or recall that answer from your memory before you end up revealing that answer to yourself. So you have a question, you try to answer it on your mind, and then you show the answer to yourself to see if you're correct or not. And a simple example of implementing active recall is using flashcards. You have a question on the front, you have an answer on the back, you read the question, you test yourself, you look at the answer. Everyone's used a flashcard. I've just created it in a digital way here. Active recall helps strengthen your memory because when you are presented with a question on a flashcard, you have to generate that answer yourself before you reveal that answer. And by doing that, you're testing your memory and you're strengthening those neural pathways in your brain that help you remember something for much longer. I'm not a scientist myself, but there's a lot of science and research that says that this recalling of information using active recall is an effective way to learn and memorize. So like I said, memorization becomes a big part of mastering the machine because you have to memorize, what do all these buttons do? What do all these displays do? How do I use this software? So by having an effective way to memorize, you're going to fast track your progress with the machine. The second effective learning method is interleaved practice. And this is a learning technique where you mix or interleave multiple subjects or topics while studying, instead of focusing on one subject for an extended period of time. So with the flashcard database, you could study single topics at a time. For example, you could study all the arranging flashcards, all the automation flashcards, or you could study multiple topics at once. So you might have some flashcards on arranging, on the controller shortcuts, on clips, on chords mode. And by seeing all these flashcards randomly, you have to obviously be competent in all of those topics to get all the flashcards correct. So this interleaves the studying of multiple topics at once, which is more difficult, but by doing it, you're going to test your mind and start to memorize these things. Because if you study all the arranging flashcards at once, your mind's stuck on arranging, and sometimes it could become too easy. But by including multiple topics to study at once, you're really getting a good test. If this system interests you but looks confusing, don't worry. There are video lessons in the course as well as 2 text lessons right here that show you how to use and navigate this flashcard system and to use it to your benefit. And like I said, in fact, with the link to the Maschine Accelerator system in the description, you could scroll down the page and you'll see one of these video lessons here so you can see in detail how the flashcard database works. I poured everything I know about Maschine into these videos and into these flashcards, and I tried to create what I wish I had when I started learning Maschine. A comprehensive course that covered all bases, that teaches not only where things are and what things do, but how they are used and why. And a course that emphasizes efficiency and workflow when using the software and the controller. I tried to add a lot of content on shortcuts and efficiency things because when you could work efficiently with these tools, you could stay in the creative zone and you spend less time worrying about wondering how to do something. I hope that these resources could help get you to where you want to go with Maschine, whether you are a complete beginner or someone with a little more experience. Now that this huge project is published and out of the way, I look forward to creating many more videos on this channel and for myself making more music. I'll see you in the course or in the next video. Either way, thank you very much.